Welcome Libra to your in-depth monthly forecast for October 2025. I'm going to share some standout details to begin with, then on screen your event chart right at the beginning of the month, which always provides an influential backdrop for the whole period. I'll then go through each of the key influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what to look forward to. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now, but please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. Your ruler, Libra, is Venus, and Venus is going to be joining you right at the heart of this month in a very exciting way. So I can't wait to share that with you. But you do start October with the Sun and Mercury in residence, which is very helpful if you want to focus on the things that you're really invested in, you feel passionate about, you want to really prioritize. It's going to give you extra thrust, so that's good. I'm going to share about that with you. But also, as you come into this month, there is an angle between Jupiter, the planet of opportunity and fortune, and Mercury in your sign. And your imagination, but also your enthusiasm, can be infectious this month, and it may be something which can see a breakthrough. Now, there is going to be a full moon opposite your Sun on the 7th, which can hold some challenges, and your annual new moon this year is on the 21st. But it's quite a complex one this time round, but I'll unpack all of that for you. But in the latter part of the month, Libra, whatever you're working on in the earlier parts of October, you get a chance to see how much progress you're making, and there could be a really significant breakthrough around your finances, your professional situation, or your goals and ambitions. But just before I go into that, I want to share with you about my unique offer. You can order your personal natal forecast for year 2026 now, and I'll give you the rest of this year free. But also you'll get 30% off the individual prices, and you'll get your life roadmap report in my special package. That really helps you to understand the patterns that have played out in your life so far. All of us. It's totally unique to each person. But understanding those patterns and matching them to the forecast will help you to make your moves in the new year much more shrewdly. But also in my special offer, you'll get your free general zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs, but also your Chinese forecast, your Vedic forecast, and your love forecast too in my special booklets. Please see the link below for more. On the screen now, I'm sharing the event chart. So first of all, I think we need to just be mindful of your lovely ruler Venus. So you can see Venus starts this month in the 12th house. Venus is not at her best in Virgo because it's known as being in her fall. So it's a bit more muted, a bit more cautious, finds it more difficult to show the kind of glam that you appreciate, or even at times the confidence to make those moves. But it may see you at the start of this month just really thinking very deeply about your relationships. And even though you're going to be very active in the here and now, the present, about the things that are exciting and sparking you, in the back of your mind, if there is something that's evolving, hasn't been bringing that much satisfaction, or a big relationship has come to a close, you do need to process that. But I just mentioned to you about Mercury and Jupiter. So there's the Sun and Mercury in your sign. And Mercury in the first house is terrific, really, because the sign of Libra is, of course, about balance, but it's also an air sign, so it's about discussion. But the first house is about where we initiate. Now, one of the accusations, which is a bit of a lazy pitch about Libran people, is that you can find it hard to make your mind up. But I feel that that link to Jupiter can give you a real spark of confidence. But I also want to make you aware of the link between the Sun and Mars. It's a semi-sextile, some more subtle influence of 30 degrees, But I feel Mars at home in Scorpio makes you much more aware of not just having ideas, but converting them into something tangible. And Mars is about desire. So I feel you can show desire, you can be decisive. It's just around relationships. There may still be some things that need to be processed. Now, if you look at the position of the moon, as the month begins, it is in the 4th house. And that's very much about our immediate emotional environment. It can be about our home. And as September came to a close, the moon did square off to the sun in your sign. So as we come into October, we're in the midst of a quarter moon. So there may be part of you that does need to toggle a little bit what you want to achieve as an individual with the needs of people around you. So, you know, whether it is other family members, whether it's about the physical place you live, whether it's about your own emotional needs, your determination to focus on the here and now is just given a reminder by the moon that however bubbly that Jupiter and Mercury square is, because the moon is interacting with them in a T-square, just stay a little bit aware of how things feel. Now, at the very start of September, Saturn, the planet of structure but also limitation, reverse back into your 6th house. The 6th house is about those daily routines, can be responsibilities, obligations, can be our work, but it can also be our physical energy. Now, Neptune's going to invert back into Pisces to join Saturn on the 22nd. So just sharing with you that Saturn at the very start of this month does suggest you need to measure the output of energy you're putting in, because that tremendous excitement that's been created between the Sun and Mars and Mercury and Jupiter could see you putting all of your effort and time into something that's really sparking and igniting you. But I feel the Moon and Saturn are just saying, stay mindful of getting the sleep you need, the nutrition you need, but also staying just in touch with how you feel. Now, on the 6th, we have Mercury move out of your sign, moving into the deep and passionate Scorpio. Now, Mercury here is quite a character, really, because Mercury can be a bit flippant through its rulership of Gemini, changeable. It's much more to do with precision through its rulership of Virgo, but in the sign of Scorpio, it's tremendous for being very penetrative. So getting down into the absolute core of any situation. So if you needed to, research some financial offers, for example, I think you're going to be really crisp and able to crunch the numbers very effectively right through to the 29th when Mercury moves again. So it goes through 3 signs this month. But Mercury is going to move later this month into a conjunction with Mars, but I'll share about that shortly, because on the 7th we have the full moon. The annual Aries full moon is always a bit of a nudge for you, that if you are deeply concentrating on something that's mightily important to you, there could be someone around you that feels your gaze is not on them. Now, maybe the kids, could be your partner, could be your parents, siblings, friends, whatever. And so I feel that sometimes in life it is really important to take a firm grip on our life direction and be very single-minded and not be distracted. You may have that choice to make at this part of the month, because the potential for deflection is there with the moon in your 4th house right at the start of the month. Do you want to be deflected again? That's the question that's going to be asked. On the 13th, however, one of the most magical moments of the whole year for you, Libra, because Venus returns to your sign. Venus in Libra is gorgeous. It gives you enormous charm and charisma, silky way with words. It helps you to connect to people with a good deal of grace. So even if from that full moon there has been a bit of choppiness and you have been feeling sensitive about relationships because of Venus being in your sector of reflection at the start of the month, you're going to move into the moment. And if there has been a breakdown, whether it's an old relationship from many years ago that suddenly you started to need to process again, because that can happen, I feel. The impact, that people can have on us can be so telling, particularly from our childhood, if we're honest. But Venus moving into your own sign is a marvellous prompt to embrace a part of your being which is very, very key to your nature, and that is the way you look. And you can be very stylized. Whether you're a dedicated follower of fashion or you've got your own unique way of doing things, there will be an understated classiness about it, and that's going to be amplified right through to November the 6th. But the big issue here is that Venus connects to both Uranus, the planet of unexpected surprises, and Pluto, the planet of transformation. And even if there have been big doubts about relationships or you're not sure, you could meet someone at the heart of this month or through to the 6th of November who could really make your pulse race. It could be very gripping indeed. So that's really exciting. But I think if you have been feeling a bit down in the dumps about a relationship that hasn't been working, this is an opportunity to draw a line in the celestial sand and move forwards. Now, I just should share with you that if you've yet to watch your year 2026 Libra deep dive forecast, you can click on the link within this video and it will take you to it. Now, on the 14th, Pluto goes direct. It's been retracing its steps since the 5th of May. And it's an annual 5-month retrograde. It's been 2.5 degrees, but of course it has been in your sister air sign the whole time. And it has also been forging some very positive links with Uranus, Saturn and Neptune throughout that period. So I don't think it's been all bad, but I think what Pluto in the 5th house is kind of pushing us to do is think about whether we're really expressing joy in life or not. Are we pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit to connect in all different sorts of ways, whether it's through our creativity, our friendships, our social interaction, or our love life. But because Pluto's involved in that very compelling angle to Uranus and Venus, I think that's very helpful to you that that's gone forwards. But the 15th to the 26th sees Mercury get ever closer and then combine on the 20th with Mars. If there is something around a financial matter that you really feel passionate about, you're going to have a steely side to your nature. There's part of you that can appear to be, very inscrutable, but I feel that as the Sun moves into Scorpio on the 23rd, gives you more innate desire to convert all the hard work you've been putting into fresh ideas earlier in the month into something more tangible. But the Sun squares off to Pluto. If you are in a relationship of any kind at all, where you feel that someone's rather controlling or jealous of you or possessive, it could really make your blood boil. You have a reputation of being, someone who likes to maintain that, very even persona. But when aroused, you're a cardinal sign. You're a sign of action and leadership. You can display the energy of your opposite sign of Aries and be much feistier. And that's possible around about the 20th through to the 25th of this month. But only if someone's not really respecting the value you bring to a situation. But the 29th sees Mercury speed through to the sign of Sagittarius. And right as this month comes to a close, some kind of electric, quick moving event can occur. It may be a text message, an email, a completely random connection to someone. You could have a conversation that is so inspiring that it really lights you up, but something very dazzling can bring the cosmic curtain down. But I want to just tell you about the angle between Jupiter, Saturn and Mars as this month draws to a close, because they're in a grand water trine. And when Jupiter moved into your sector of success in the early part of June this year, it was challenged on the 15th of June by the limiting energies of Saturn in your sector of relating. And it may have felt that however much you were putting your best foot forwards, somehow or another it was falling on, barren ground. People weren't responsive to what you had to say. But if you've been consistent in what you're trying to achieve, particularly around your professional situation, you could seize a golden prize as this month draws to a close that absolutely fills you with real joy. But it will have come from a lot of application and a lot of dedication and a lot of perspiration. So if you think of where you're applying those kind of characteristics at the moment, that gives you a little bit of a clue of where that can come back to you in a very karmic but positive way as this month comes to a close. Have a great October, Libra.